Hey, it's me again. For those of you who don't realize this, I am 78 years old, white, male. I don't live in the United States because I couldn't afford to retire in the United States, but I pay attention to what goes on up there. It's my country, you know. I seen a lot, what have you, and everything, you know. I get bored. I have nothing to do. I mean, when you live in Colombia and you're 78 years old, people don't want to know you, you know, because you ramble on too much and you talk about crap that they don't care about, like the politics and stuff like that, you know. Even their politics they don't care about. So, anyhow, I just sitting around the house watching a little television, you know, and there's a lot of English TV down here, so I watch a lot of that. And I sit there and I'm saying to myself, I said, do you know, there is a huge possibility that Trump's going to get elected. And I say, I wonder if people realize, forget, let's say he gets immunity. If he gets immunity, all bets are off. It's just going to be a fuck show, really. But forget about that for a moment. Let's just say he's president of the United States. And I said, do you really want to sit there, an American citizen, anywhere in the world, and have this man in control of the largest or tied for first nuclear arsenal? You want him walking around with what they call a football, the case with the keys in it and everything? I really don't want to see that because he's unstable. Um, I mean, he's in the past. He took the papers and documents that he took for to be able to use them to sell and negotiate deals with the Russians or whoever else is involved in those particular papers. I don't know. I'm not privy to that. But that's why I took him. He didn't took him because he likes to sit and read. He doesn't read. I mean, he knows how. He just doesn't read. You know, he never read his intelligence reports, his daily intelligence reports. You know, he just went around and did his thing. You know, there are similarities between running a big business and running the United States government, but there are areas where it just isn't practical to use the same methods. He doesn't understand that. Um, I understand it. I'm not saying I approve of it, but I understand it. Donald Trump is unstable. I mean, I don't want to. You know, I call him an asshole. I call him a lot of things, but he's just unstable. Uh, you see it every day. You watch the man. The man's not. The man's just not there sometimes. He's out to lunch. Excuse me, check please. I'm leaving. Uh, I'm really not sure that either one of these guys is going to be a great president, but I am fairly certain, based upon my observations during my lifetime, that Trump is quite possibly the most dangerous man ever to run for president, and not because everybody says, well, he's going to tear it up, he's going to rearrange things, he's going to get it right. No, he's not. When you look at a man who thrives on chaos, he's not going to get it right. Okay. Now, there's a lot of sayings that deal with this. It's possible he'll get a couple things right, but the majority of the things he's going to do, he's going to get them wrong. And by the time the smoke clears on that stuff, it's going to be too late for democracy. It's going to be gone. You're going to have all these semi-intelligent individuals in office, you know. It's like you you have Marjorie Taylor Greene, who you know, if she'd shut up, I wouldn't talk about her. I don't talk about AOC, and she's not one of my favorite people, but Marjorie just keeps opening her mouth up and burying herself with garbage. I, you know, the thing about repenting because of it's a sign from God. Come on, all right. Fine, I believe in a God. I don't believe in religions, and I sure as hell don't believe in Marjorie Taylor Greene. Oh, excuse me. Oh, it's a lack of oxygen. I'm not tired. Uh, but the sitting there and the stuff that comes out of her mouth sometimes. I mean, I'm sure she's done some good at some point in time. Otherwise, she would have been shot or drawn and quartered or something by now. But as a whole, it doesn't come out of her mouth. They're basically nonsense. Um, you know, Donald Trump and her are like two little kids, spoiled kids that aren't getting their own way. And when they don't get their own way, they rant, they rave, they yell, they scream, they talk nonsense. And that's what they do. I mean, but getting back to Trump, I mean, do you seriously want this man in control of the group, a nuclear arsenal? Do you want this man to be able to decide your fate in the future, or your children's fate? That's what the president does. I mean, that's what he's about. That's what all the megas are about. And like I said, I believe there's somebody behind him. That's my conspiracy theory. That there's somebody pushing their agenda through, and it's not good for the country. It's not good for everybody. Do I think that things could be different in the United States? Of course I do. I think that there's a lot of things that should change, I don't know how you handle some of these things because of the hundreds of thousands, hundreds of millions of people that are involved in it. And, you want to change somebody's belief. That's difficult. That's why they tell bartenders, don't talk politics and religion with your customers, because you can't change their minds. It's a personal belief. You're never going to change their minds, and all you're going to do is get in an argument. Now, I could never sit down and debate Donald Trump because I think he's just too. First of all, be honest, I don't know everything. He probably knows a little bit more about politics and some other things than I do. But I will tell you this. The temptation to smack that moron in the head is going to be there. He doesn't want other people to talk because he knows he can't argue. He knows he's wrong. And he's not the right person for this job, You can't be the right person for this job and stand up and say, I'm right and you're wrong, and that's the end of it. And that's what he says. I'm right. Everybody else is wrong. Politics is the art of compromise. He doesn't compromise. He brutally beats people. And could you imagine if he... Now let's go back to what I said. We were talking about when I said, he's the wrong choice and everything like this for the carry the nuclear arsenal. But what happens if he gets immunity? Now, granted, past and present presidents have to get it. He just can't. It can't be just for him. All right, if it's just for him, then we need to start a war or something. That's the end of that. All right. But he gets that immunity, and you're looking at a petulant child with I don't care how big his IQ is, because I think he's headed in the wrong direction with that. He might have had a good IQ when he was younger. So did I. I had a very good IQ when I was younger, and I know the effects of age on me. You see, if you've known me my lifetime, you'll know that you've seen this. The effect age has had upon me, age and alcoholism and everything else that I went through as growing up. It all comes back to get you when you get old, But now I sit around and I'll be honest with you, I skim a lot of articles, not looking for anti-Trump or anti-this, but trying to get the gist of what's going on. Picking out what actually affects me. It's like I think it was Reagan that started trickle down economics. That hasn't worked. It trickles up. The money goes up. It doesn't goes to the big people. The money doesn't come to the little people. And here's something you should realize. All right, you work for a company, big company, food company. You get a raise, a nice raise. Okay, good raise, $10 an hour more, whatever. All right, great raise. You're happier, and you'll vote for anybody. You'll do whatever they want. This is great. This job's great. A year later, you can't afford any more than you could before you got the raise. The raise is wiped out by taxation, the fact that the owner of the company isn't going to make less money. He's either going to fire people or he's going to raise prices, in which case the things that you would buy from that company are going to cost you a lot more money now. It happens. I've seen it. I mean, you have to be an idiot not to see it. They make some things, they call the basics of our economy is supply and demand. All right? It's not. You got to take wages into it. But wages start with your landlords. Your basic cost of living. Your basics. As they increase in price, which is theoretically the cost of living, forget the fact that you can't afford a luxury, a brand new super duper car. You have to settle for a small eco style car. Forget all that stuff. Okay, that doesn't affect you. What affects you is the cost of food. Why is the price of food going up? Okay, we had a drought. All right. The second the word drought is mentioned, prices go up. Not after the effect of the effect is seen in the stores and the markets and everything else. And rather than sit there and say, "Listen, people, we got to chill out a little bit," things are going to get expensive. They shouldn't get expensive. It shouldn't be done. But it's the way things are set up. If you get a raise, things are going to cost you more money. And that raise isn't going to be worth the same a year from now. All right? It's only worth that for a few months. You've got some extra money. And with the debts that people carry, that raise is wiped out almost the second it hits your check. So I don't know. What do I know? I'm just a fat old guy sitting down in Columbia talking to my dog. Well, she's not in the room right now. She doesn't even want to listen to me when I get like this. I'm not depressed about all this stuff because I'm not going to be around to experience the results of a Trump presidency's second term or anything like that, Unless I say something stupid and he decides he wants to come after me, well, then I'll be like Davy Crockett at the top of my stairs, a couple of tomahawks in my hands, swinging back and forth, chopping heads off till they kill me, But I look at things and sometimes I see things and they look so simple, not a complicated solution. And then by the time it gets settled, the solution is 10 times more complicated than it should be. Well, I don't know if it should be, but you bring in a lot of other factors and it becomes very, very complicated, the solution, And in the meantime, people aren't getting fed and whatnot. It's like Ukraine aid, okay? I don't want to see those people get slaughtered, and that's what I don't want to see genocide anywhere. I don't want to see it in Israel either. But it's not a complicated decision. You're either going to give them the money to buy guns and weapons, or you're going to step in and stop the war. You know, all you got to, I'm not saying all you have to do, because I'm sure it's much more complicated than this, but how about you walk up to Putin and say, yo, Putin, stop the war where it is, lay down your guns, both sides, or we're going to drop the nukes on you. Now Putin's going to go, well, I got nukes too. That's the problem, you know? Hey, listen, I've enjoyed my afternoon with you guys. 15 minutes, wow. I can bullshit longer than that, but I'm getting old. I will say my farewells for the day, and I will catch you guys tomorrow, hopefully a little earlier than I've been doing it. Take care.